Welcome to Dunster. The National Trust look after it now. It is far too large for one person to look after it, so I passed it over to them back in the 70s. This is the outer hall. In my grandfather's time, it used to be what was the little parlour and steward's room. There are the lunch chimes. We will only have the time to look around the ground floor before lunch. I will show you upstairs later if you like, in which case we will start by visiting the billiard room first. We will turn right just here. This little corridor leads to the armament room, which is permanently locked, and to the billiard room. The window looks onto the approach to the house. I learned to play billiards here with my grandfather. The males in the family often retreated here after dinner. The columns have been moved here from the inner hall during Salvin's remodelling. The billiard room was originally the kitchen, hence the big fireplace. Can you imagine the length of time it took getting the food from here to the dining room? No wonder it was moved. Mind the steps on the way out. Just a bit further on is the justice room. This is where my great-grandfather conducted all his business. He was High Sheriff and Justice of the Peace in the area. He used to interview the tenants and servants here. The door at the end of the corridor gave independent access so that they wouldn't have to come all the way through the house. Immediately opposite are a few steps leading up to the library. This is my favourite room. Just to the left you can see the conservatory linking this room with the drawing room. To the left of the chimney is a portrait of my great-grandfather George, who engaged Salvin to remodel the house. On his right is my great-grandmother Anne. This room is one of the only rooms in the house where the original colour scheme still survives. If I remember properly, the sofas are still the same red leather, but have been covered in these loose chintz covers to protect them. The conservatory replaces a chapel and creates a lovely link between the two rooms. Some of the plants here are very old. The whole of the wall on the left is mirrored, creating the illusion of a much larger room. From here we will go into the drawing room. This never existed. It has been totally created by Salvin, forming part of a large new tower. It is here where all the ladies meet to have tea, while we went to the billiard room. There is a lovely French bracket clock against the wall. It is this clock that you can hear chiming throughout the house. If you follow me, we will go back through the outer hall and to the other end of the house and the dining room. In medieval times, the inner hall was known as the Great Hall and is where everyone lived and ate together. The only trace of this lifestyle is the fireplace in front of you. Salvin built this, perhaps to replicate the original, and put William de Mohun's coat of arms above. Moving into the dining room, or what was known as the Great Parlour, most of the guests have gathered here already. We will join them again in a minute. As the Great Parlour, my ancestors used to receive guests here. The portraits by the fireplace are of Colonel Francis Luttrell and his wife Mary, who were the instigators in installing the ornate ceiling. The double doors facing you lead into what was the withdrawing room. Just before Salvin's alterations, it had been also used as a library, but then changed it to a serving room, making life easier for the servants to serve guests. The staircase was also put in by Francis and is quite magnificent. Each panel tells a story, such as fox hunting and stag hunting. It used to fascinate me as a child, working out the figures in the carved panels. It was covered with white paint. I can't imagine the hours that were involved stripping the paint back to wood. Another instruction of Salvin's. There's a doorbell. If you'll excuse me, I will just go and answer it. If you would like to make your way to the dining room, I will join you in a minute.